Kazakhstan, among other post-Soviet republics, is distinguished by a large length of territory with a rare population, large deposits of various mineral resources, and large areas. But like many post-Soviet countries, Kazakhstan experienced a crisis in the 90s. The economy was at a very low level. The economy of the country was in conditions of high inflation, imbalance of revenues, and the budget system, budget deficit, rising energy prices, produced monopolism. 1995 country GDP decreased by an average of 18.7% compared with 1991. The reasons for such a catastrophic recession were associated with the collapse of the country and the break of most economic ties between the republics. In the 1990s, the production of coal and electricity has greatly decreased, largely due to the economic downturn in Russia and the transition in mutual payment to hard currency, which countries have been catastrophically lacking. On November 15, 1993, by decree of the Head of State Nazarbayev, the national currency was introduced tenge. The period of introduction of the national currency in Kazakhstan was characterized by a collapse in production and galloping inflation. The maximum percentage of inflation was recorded in 1992. It was more than 2,960%. For example, in 214, when 3 was a rapid growth of the dollar, the inflation rate was 7.4%, which proves the terrible state of the economy in the 1990s.
In 2000, the country had 1.5 million people. Population is less than in 1991. At the same time, the share of the poor population has sharply increased. In 1998, incomes below the subsistence minimum were 38% of the population. In 1991-1995, there was a collapse in this investment file. And finally, in 1996, the first positive change were outlined. A positive GDP growth was recorded. Industrial production increased. In 1997 till 2000, capital expenditure increased annually by more than 30%. Such a significant increase was due primarily to an extremely low baseline. Investment in fixed assets only particularly compressed for the reduction in production assets and were insufficient and facts the basic for maintaining stable positive growth rates in the medium and long term. Thus, since the middle of the decade, the Kazakh economy has demonstrated a steady positive GDP growth rates and a recovery in industrial production. A feature of the 90s became the growth of the shadows economy, according to Western estimate in mid-90s. The shadows sector have from 27.5% to 34.0% of the GDP. The very radical steps which noticeably revived domestic demand was the transfer